Questions. Yes, no questions, and tag questions. Did. 14. Did he eat a mango? Did you kill a snake? Did you make a table? Did you live abroad? Did you eat my cake? Did you call Debbie? Did Alice invite you? Did you see that car? Did he give you a gift? Did they go to cinema? Did he break the window? Did they agree with us? Did they arrive on time? Did they go to the beach? Did you answer correctly? Did you arrive yesterday? Did you just call Debbie? Did you move here in 1991? Did she like the surprise? Did you study? Yes, I did. Did anyone steal your purse? Did you watch TV last night? Did you go to work yesterday? Did she write a letter to him? Did anyone hurt your feelings? Did you play tennis last week? Did Barry give you my passport? Did you have dinner last night? Did you study Spanish yesterday? Did Susan go to England by plane? Did you phone your aunt last week? Did he go to the cinema last night? Did he come to your party last week? Did you ask Tina to go out with you? Did you see the film on TV last night? Did you do much climbing in Switzerland? Did Rob finish his assignment yesterday? Did she play tennis when she was younger? Did you live in Texas when you were a kid? Did you have a bicycle when you were young? Did the employees stay late again last night? Did the meat smell all right when you bought it? Did he used to eat a lot of meat when he was young? Did the shop assistant take 10% off the price? Did you play a musical instrument when you were a kid? Did we used to meet our schoolmates more than these days? Did Frank share a room with Henry when they were in Rome? Did you add flour, pour in the milk, and then add the eggs? Did you go to the cinema last night? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Did he speak with Kate yesterday? Yes, he did. No, he didn't. John scored a goal, didn't he? Mary didn't used to live alone, did she? The dogs barked all night, didn't they? The girls didn't copy on the exam, did they? Kate didn't take out the rubbish bin, did she? Was. 15. Was that book meant for me? Was the window broken by him? Was he at the office the other day? Was your purse stolen by anyone? I was right, wasn't I? He was there, wasn't he? That was a rainy day, wasn't it? Sue wasn't very friendly, was she? The seat wasn't very comfortable, was it? Bob was at home yesterday, wasn't he? Were. 16. Were you angry? Were you invited by Alice? Were you at home yesterday? Were they in Iceland last January? Were your feelings hurt by anyone? We were at the right place, weren't we? The apples weren't delicious, were they? The children were too silent, weren't they? The players were a bit tired, weren't they? WH. Questions. WH. Did, was, were. 17. How did you do that? How much did they eat? How long did you wait for them? How long did the train journey take? How many children were there at the party? What did you do yesterday? What did you eat for dinner? What did you lose yesterday? What did you say? I didn't say anything. What did you buy when you won that money? When did you arrive? When did you move here? When were you in London? When did you meet your wife? When did you buy that sweater? When did you design this wonderful skirt? When did you study? I studied last night. Where did she go? Where could such fine art be found? Where could you find such fine art? Where did you go for your holidays? Where did you study? I studied at the library. Which did you eat? Which book did Sam read? Which did she want to buy? Which way did the group go? Who did you talk to? Who did you work for? Whom did you laugh at? Who was laughed at by you? Who did you meet at the party? Who did they visit last summer? Whose spoon did I use? Whose coat did the thief steal? Whose did the little girl break? Whose film did you see at the cinema? Why did he punish you? Why did we have to come? Why were you punished by him? Why did you abuse your servant? Why did the computer break down? Why didn't you do your homework? Why did the baby cry this morning? Why was your servant abused by you? Why didn't you tell me about the accident? Why didn't you go to the party? I did go. By whom was the snake killed? By whom was Canada settled? By whom was the order executed? WH. Questions about the subject. 18. Who did that? What caused it? Who killed the snake? Who wrote Don Quixote? Who saw this film at home? Who discovered penicillin? Which present cost the most? How much water got into the bag? How many people worked at the factory? What kind of machines made this noise? Whose friends helped you after the accident? Important prepositions. Ago. 19. Jason phoned a minute ago. I met my wife a long time ago. They visited a farm 2 weeks ago. He left the house over an hour ago. Her grandfather died 10 years ago. She came to Germany 2 years ago. He had a Chinese meal 2 weeks ago. She recalled her talk with him eons ago. His advancement to major came 2 years ago. The country gained its independence 10 years ago. The business was acquired from Orion 4 years ago. A generation ago genetic codes were certainly unknown. For 20. We waited for 1 hour. I lived abroad for 10 years. I lived in Brazil for 2 years. I lived in Bangkok for 10 years. We went to Spain for our holidays. Shauna studied Japanese for 5 years. We talked on the phone for 30 minutes. I worked for the same company for 2 years. It rained every day for a week on my vacation. Our family lived in this house for over 30 years. Yesterday we listened to the radio for 4 hours. My brother lived in London for 6 years. He doesn't live there anymore. Until 21. He bent the branch until it broke. The old man hit the horse until it collapsed. Before 22. I made the bed before I left. We made popcorn before he arrived. Before he called, we started the movie. Before she left, she gave everyone a present. Important conjunctions. When 23. I lived in that house when I was young. The Titanic sank when it hit an iceberg. When Peter arrived, I was reading a book. She played the piano when she was a child. When she was young, she danced beautifully. When I played football, I always injured myself. She played a lot of tennis when she was younger. She answered my question when I paid her $1. I paid her $1 when she answered my question. When I paid her $1, she answered my question. When I was a boy, I walked a mile to school every day. Robert and I loved the same girl when we were at college. When I was a girl, I walked 5 miles to school every day. I've hurt my leg. I fell off a ladder when I was painting my bedroom. And 24. Next, they went and cooked dinner. She held on tightly and entered the tunnel. He went to a cafe, sat down and lit a cigarette. She put on a CD and relaxed for the afternoon. Tarzan dove into the swamp and swam toward the alligator. She opened her bag, took out the key and unlocked the door. I dreamed 1,000 new paths. I woke and walked my old one. Last night I played my guitar loudly and the neighbors complained. I finished work, walked to the beach, and found a nice place to swim. Yesterday I went to the library, met a friend for lunch, and played tennis. Every time I finished a sandcastle, the waves came in and washed it away. He arrived from the airport at 8 o'clock, checked into the hotel at 9 o'clock, and met the others at 10 o'clock. He took off his shoes, rolled down the window, turned the radio way up, and made us all sing the Michigan State fight song. Then, 25. We worked really hard to make this a success, but then Chuck ruined it with his carelessness. While, 26. We swam a lot while we were on holiday. Since, 27. Since I had that accident, I have seen my life differently. You really know him? Yes. Since we went to primary school together. Some structures with past simple. If I were, 28. If I were you, I'd go. If I were in your heart. I'd leave now if I were you. If I were you, I'd probably go. I wouldn't do that if I were you. If I were you, I wouldn't marry him. I'd go for that job if I were a graduate. If I were you, I'd get some legal advice. I should wait a little longer, if I were you. If I were to refuse, they'd be very annoyed. I wouldn't trust that smoothie if I were you. If I were in your shoes, I'd resign immediately. If I were having a bet, I'd take even money on United. If I were you, I'd have a word in his ear before it's too late. If I were the teacher, I would give lots of homework every day. If I were you, I'd take some tissues to the cinema, it's a real weepy. If, did, would, do, 29. If wishes were horses, beggars would ride. If she knew his number, she would call him. If I won the lottery, I would travel the world. I would be much happier if you didn't do that. If you weren't so inactive, you wouldn't be so fat. If I won the lottery, I would buy a house in Chelsea. If you didn't eat so much junk food, you would be a lot fitter. If you bought a calculator, you wouldn't have to borrow mine all the time. Would rather somebody, did, 30. I'd rather you didn't eat it. Have plus past participle with past simple, 31. The man who stole the car has been arrested. I've been on holiday. I went to Spain and Portugal. I haven't seen him since we met last year. I wish, did, was, were, 32. I wish we had a car. I wish she loved me. I wish you were here. I wish I didn't eat so much. I wish you were much happier. I wish you lived longer than me. I wish I could help you, but I can't. I wish you didn't say this all the time. It's time somebody did something, 33. Well, it's time we left now. It's time we spoke to each other. It's time we jacked this work in. It's time you planned your travel. It's time the children went to bed. It's time we dug up those potatoes. It's time you started on your homework. It's time they served up the main course. It's time you stopped dwelling on the past. It's past 12 o'clock, it's time we had lunch. Call her down hastily, it's time she had supper. It's time you settled your differences with your father.